They're pretty small, but they can still pack a punch. That's the one I banded. That's the wrong way. That's the right way. That's the right way.
So you guys have sampled this, abandoned this owl before?
Yes, in fact I think I put the band on it a couple of days ago. Okay. So we meet again.
This time he draws blood?
Yeah. So we have somewhere in here 1104506665. Okay. To age these, we need to look at the wing feathers. Unless I'm wrong, these all look the same generation. They're all the same colouring. They all feel the same. There's no kind of excess wear on any of them. So in second year birds, we've got. So what we're going to do here is going to turn on the UV light, and we can use the UV light to help age the feathers. So different generations of feather will look different under UV light, and from that we can kind of gauge how many generations there are. But you can age these up to at least 3 years old, so we can say they're 3 years old or 4 years.
Yeah.
So you can say age them up to the 4th year, but after that they're at least 4 years old, but we can't age them exactly due to the molt cycle. And then in here we can see 3 generations of feather. So the way we age birds is we're looking for contrast between adult and juvenile feathers. So in juveniles they'll have some of the adult plumage coming through, and still some juvenile feathers, while in the adults they won't have any juvenile feathers left. So, I mean, in these guys it's looking for kind of generations of feather.
Is the owl alive?
Yeah? Having a grand old time. So you can see how sharp the talons are there. Absolute needles. You know, and for us, these aren't too bad if they get us. Rather they didn't, but if they do, you know, it's not the end of the world. But for some bigger owls, it's painful. I'm going to plunge us into darkness for a second. From here, it's all the same pink.
That pink is from a chemical I believe called porphyrin, and that grows in when they're growing their feather. It has a blood supply, and that chemical is left behind. It lights up pink in the light, and then as feathers age, it slowly starts to wear away.
Light back on. Yep. Yeah. Right. So now I'm just gonna. Now I'm gonna measure its wing.
Now I'm going to be testing him because he measured the same wing 2 nights ago.
Oh dear. Okay.
So you can get serious. How did Kaylee measure it? You said you were measuring some wings.
It might have been some of them.
Kaylee remeasured it, yes.
So either way, you've got an excuse.
Oh my god.
You did the same to me in the net.
Yeah,
It's nothing personal.
they're evil. No, they're not. They're brilliant. Thank you. It's kind of you. Not quite as bad as that Sharpie that got me the other day. So here, all I'm doing is I'm slipping the rule under the wing, like so, and then we just let the wing sit on the rule, like so. And I can never seem to get it right, but so I'm getting 138 millimeters out of that.
Yeah, I'll allow that.
Okay, thank you. So. Next up, what we're going to do, as Kaylee so kindly reminded me, I'll show you whether this bird's molting or not. So to do that, we just blow on the belly. Okay. And so this is the danger with these guys, they bicycle. So if you get in the wrong place, they can absolutely do you one. I'm going to check the crop. So the crop is just in here, and it basically shows us if it's got a meal inside it or not. Don't quote me on that quite yet.
Yeah.
Less. Quarter. Okay. There we go. Here's the undignified part.
This is where it's going to bicycle, probably.
Yeah, this is where the
they nest in holes, right? So they're very good at escaping from holes because they're so used to going in and out. They nest in holes.
Ever have an owl get loose in the lab?
Thankfully not. I don't think. I don't know, but
yeah.
hopefully I won't make it.
They don't tend to be as energetic and moving around. They'll kind of like get out and then just land somewhere.
Nice and easy. Let's say undignified as you get. So that's 81.3, which I don't remember one being that light the other day. I must admit.
Well, let's see if it's increased or decreased.
So we use this lovely little chart to confirm whether it's a female or male.
9.4 grams lighter.
9 grams lighter.
Lost 9 grams in 2 days.
That is
So,
interesting. And as Max just said, so this has lost 9 grams in a couple of days. So
Which is that's a tenth of its total weight.
it's quite a lot of weight.
It's not that much for a bird that can really quickly pile on fat and muscle, but if you thought about it for us, like 10% in 2 days would be pretty
It's
significant.
a lot of weight, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how these guys kind of react to these things and how they can put on muscle incredibly quickly.
You know, a large meal for them, like one mouse, is going to be quite a significant portion, whereas a large meal for us is just going to be a fraction of half total weight. Just let everyone have
Before I show you the bird for a photo, on the leading edge of the wing here, you see it's very fine. You won't be able to see it from the back, but there's like a fine tooth comb along there. Yeah. And it's got it on its primary feathers as well, on the leading edges, and it's got microscopic ones across the back of the wing. And effectively this breaks up the air when they're flying, so they can fly silently. And all owls have this. They also grow what's called a flange, which is basically a comb on the back of the hind claw. And it's effectively there to comb all the blood and guts out after they've just dismembered a mouse. I'll hold the owl, I'll keep my hands close by to the wings because I don't want it flapping, because flapping can injure the wings, but I'll try and keep my hands down here to... Photo out there, guys? Sorry, I'll come in a second.
So we're following a standardized protocol that's used by other bird observatories across Canada and North America to monitor saw-whet owls. So the saw-whet owls are occupying breeding habitat in the boreal forest and across the continent, and at this point during the season they're starting to migrate south. So like any of the birds that migrate south that hit Long Point, the sandy peninsula spit that goes out into Lake Erie, they funnel down at Long Point becomes one of these landscapes in which birds can pretty much maximize their time and energy until they eventually have to fly across the lake. If you're a bird migrating south for thousands and thousands of kilometers, you want to basically eat as much food as you can before you eventually have to do a huge effortful flight across Lake Erie and further south wherever you're going. So what we do is we have a set of about 14 nets that we use for standardized songbird monitoring, and we use a subset of those nets for the owl banding. And what we do is, what time is it? It's probably like 7:30-ish? Yeah, on the dot. Around 8:15, we'll open up the nets. We put a saw-whet owl recording in the centroid of our net setup. That goes consistently throughout the night. And then what we do is, essentially we be as patient as possible. Owls are very high sensitive to disturbance, so there's lots of things that we do to minimize disturbance when we're banding and monitoring saw-whets. One is minimizing light. So as you notice, we don't have any lights out outside, aside from the one red light that Chloe probably just accidentally turned off with her back. Oh, and she turned it back on with her back.
Magical.
So we have one red light that isn't as sensitive to the owls, but the rest of the lights we turn off. When we do our standardized checks to check the nets for owls, we use headlamps. Usually we only send 2 people out there. So what we'll probably do tonight is send our volunteers out there. If there's anyone who wants to join, we can create a system where it's 1 and 1. But anyone who's going out to join on a net run, essentially you want to be as quiet as possible, like no talking, you're just kind of following them. If you come across an owl, you don't say anything, you don't gas, you don't wow. In your head you can scream, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Watch the volunteers extract the owl, and then we'll come back here. Since we have a larger group than normal, usually we have visitors that come here and they come and go throughout the night, but since you guys will be here at least for a couple hours and this will be the group size, we'll try to do a system where if we catch an owl,